After about 16 years, Outer Banks returns. And I say that the season 3 has been out for almost a month now, but I'm only getting round to reviewing it now. And we do kick off episode 1 of season 3 with the gang. The episode is called Poguelandia. Essentially, we've added like one more to our teams. We've added Cleo. They're on a deserted island. I mean, it's been that long. It honestly feels like ages ago since I watched this. And I'm pretty sure it's near enough. It's almost like 20 months ago. Season 2 came out. Something crazy like that. But you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It's a decent show, I mean, I don't like teen dramas or whatever, well, generally, but I think this show's alright. It gets the job done, in my opinion. But we're on this island. Basically, we're seeing how they're coming to terms. So now it's like, are we going to spend like a full season on this island or an episode? And we spent about 10 minutes, being honest. Like, they catch some fish, see some of the group bonding, but then there's this pilot that lands. He's called Jimmy Portis. So they're flying. Of course, they don't trust him. They find a picture in one of his books. It's of the boat that Ward owned. We do cut back to the Camerons. Ward's in a coma, which is very fitting, of course. If you remember, John B punched him, and it ended up like John B's dad. But turns out John B's dad no dead, which of course that was a big, massive reveal in the last season. But Rafe is trying to sell the cross of Santo Domingo. He's basically set up a deal with this French guy called Michael Arnaud. So this guy doesn't really want to buy it until he sees he just looks into it a bit more, which kind of annoys Rafe. But even like the interpreter here says so he wants to know where you got it from, and Rafe's just like, no, that's irrelevant to him. He doesn't need to know. I mean, he could have literally just said, oh, we found it buried underneath one of our properties, something like that. I mean, alright, maybe that would have raised suspicions too, but the way he just shut this down, I don't know, came across as very stupid to me. But back aboard the plane, John B's distracting the pilot while they look through all his information. They basically come to the conclusion that here, this guy must be working for Ward. But of course, if Ward's in a coma, so therefore, how could he really be working for Ward if Ward's humped? But anyway, point stands here. But they basically managed to take control of the plane, and then it ends up crashing. John B, Sarah, JJ, Pope, and Cleo managed to swim away, but Kiara actually saves Jimmy, and then she ends up getting captured, which I thought was pretty mad that the five of them are like, fuck this guy. Key's gonna be the one to save him. They kind of just jobbed out. But Kiara is taken to this location. It's called Fox Hall, and it turns out that our kidnapper is not Ward. Is a new character by the name of Carlos or Amigos. And yeah, we get introduced to him. Seems like he's a pretty brutal man, of course, but Rafe is actually in the same building as well, because it turns out this is the same guy that is trying to buy the cross from Rafe. So it turns out that guy earlier must have just been a contact of Carlos or something. But so yeah, it was kind of weird to see Rafe and Kiara here in the same location. We do see throughout the episode the other Pogues, so to speak. They go to Jimmy's house, and there's a bit of a scene where it's like, there's 5 of them. How the fuck did Jimmy almost get away? It's like he almost batters 5 of them. I thought it was a wee bit ridiculous, especially when 3 out of the 5 are men. Thought that was stupid. But then we see Limbre and Big John. Big John shows up, and they're looking at the plane crash, and Big John's he wants to tell his son that he's alive, but he would put John B at risk, which of course it would. It would put him at risk, so I understand that. Basically, the end of the episode, it is Carlos kind of comes in, threatens Rafe and Karis, you've only got a day to help me find the these documents. Can't remember what they actually were. And then Rafe, after he walks away, is begging Kiara, saying do you know where they are? Tell me the truth. And she's like, no. Obviously, she could just fucking lie to him if we're being honest about things. She could just turn around and say, why would she even tell him? We were feuding last season, so maybe this season we see him more of a fucking Ward and Rafe are going to team up with the Pogues against this Carlos guy. I don't know. But then we see Jimmy basically getting dragged in, And that's what I don't get, right? When they left Jimmy's house with the location of this Foxhall place, Jimmy seen that some guy seen them and then he would make a phone call. Why the fuck didn't Jimmy try and get off this island? Just seems very stupid. But Carlos looks up at the window that Kiara and Rafe are looking at, and then basically Jimmy gets took off screen. Carlos looks up, reloads his gun, and then we hear a bullet go off. I mean, there's no real proof that Jimmy's dead. They could just be doing it to scare those two, but again, yeah, I'm going to assume that Jimmy is in fact dead. But let's be real, guys. This show has a habit, it has a knack of saying it's killing off people, but then in reality, it's not really killing off people, is it? But anyway, I thought this was actually a pretty decent season 3 premiere. Again, it just feels like it does feel like a very similar formula to like season 2. Will they change it up? Probably not. I guess when you've got a winning formula, why change it? But it's a decent show. I'll give this episode a 6 out of 10. And until next time, folks, peace.